In this installment, we're going to be going over Monday Night Football Showdown slate on DraftKings between the Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Let's get into it. Hey, yo! Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to bring you the winning ingredients for your Monday Night Football Showdown slate on DraftKings between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts. But before I deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And guys, don't forget about the Patreon for more betting, DFS, and fantasy football advice. All right, so if you guys missed out on this Sunday for the picks on the betting section of our Patreon here, and we killed it. As you can see, we had a parlay here: Commanders, Jets, and Eagles. Those were the main three plays there. This one was a little more risky at a plus 872. Raiders, Chargers, Eagles, and Commanders in that one. Had another one with Chargers, and we took some points with the Raiders on a live line there. We had separate with the Raiders plus 4.5. And we had the money line on the Chargers as well. So do we have another one as well? Yes. Also threw in the Jets with one of my favorite plays, Elijah Moore, who got a touchdown in this game with his best buddy Mike White bat. So guys, sign up for the Patreon. Do not miss out. All right, before we get into the captains and the flex ops, we're going to look at the injury report here for the Colts. We're going to start off with the Colts here. DeForest Buckner is questionable, but he was a full participant Saturday. That's positive news there. We got a DNP on Kyle Granson. So we know the depth that they have at the tight end position for the Colts. That could open up some more uses for the other two tight ends. Full participant there in Ryan Kelly. Kwity Paye is questionable. Definitely got to wait on news for him. Everyone else is fine. Yannick Ngakoue got a limited practice in. He's most likely going to play, but definitely stick to the news. And then Zaire Franklin didn't practice as well on Saturday. So we're going to find out some more final news on some of these crucial Colts guys on the defensive side of the ball. Now, on the Steelers side, Miles Boykins, he's pretty much a non-factor. Cameron Hayward is fine. No Jaylen Warren, the number 2 running back, who's been very explosive right behind their lead back here, Najee Harris. TJ Watt is fine. Akello Witherspoon is going to be out. That's going to bode well for Michael Pittman and Paris Campbell and the other wide receivers on the Colts. And everyone else is fine except for Robert Spillane there. We're waiting on news for him. So nothing really too crucial. Let's move on to the captains, the guys we're going to focus on and pay up for. First up, we have the El Capitans, and the first guy we're going to talk about will be their lead running back in Jonathan Taylor. He's turning things around the past 2 weeks. We saw 27 fantasy points against the Raiders, and then against the Philadelphia Eagles, he had 17.4. Caught a couple balls. We saw 84 rushing yards from him. That was a positive sign. We're seeing a high usage out of Jonathan Taylor. The question is he able to break one? All right, if you're looking at fantasy points allowed to that running back position, the Pittsburgh Steelers as of late have been pretty much in the middle there. 15th overall, 22nd in the red zone, 62 yards rushing total, because they're allowing more passing yards. So that's going to be their main weakness that we're going to key in on, and they're allowing 4 yards per carry. All right, but this is Jonathan Taylor here. This is an elite top tier running back. That 4 yards of carry can turn into something very special. So we can consider him as a captain play for Monday Night Football. The next guy we're going to look into is going to be the main beneficiary here in Michael Pittman. All right, now since Jeff Saturday is the coach, they went back to Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's going to throw to his number 1 target, and that is Michael Pittman. And with Othello Witherspoon out as cornerback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's going to open up things for Michael Pittman, who still is yet to have that full breakout year. A lot of people are taking him really early in drafts, and we had a couple bright spots this year in week 6 and week 1, but We want more from Michael Pittman. He has the upside. He's getting a ton of targets. We got 7, 9, 6, 9, and 9 the last past 5 weeks. We want 100 yards. We want a touchdown. He hasn't had a touchdown since always since week 1. So things can turn around. This is going to be a sneaky play here. Not a sneaky play, but for him to get in the end zone is going to really be crucial. He can really set himself apart as a very good captain option for Monday night. All right, the next guy we're going to speak about, we got Kenny Pickett here. He's going to be more of a flex play because we've yet to see a ceiling game from him, and you're going up against the Indianapolis Colts secondary. I'm not saying this is not that great of a matchup where you expect Kenny Pickett, this is the game where he's going to throw 300 yards and 3 TDs. If we're looking at the Indianapolis Colts, 22 overall, 23rd in the red zone, only allowing 216 passing yards and only 1.2 TDs per game. All right, so bend, don't break type of defense that they got over here, and they're not allowing that much to that quarterback position. So it's a decent matchup for him. Kenny Pickett, where if we're going to play him, we're going to pair him in that flex position. All right, so we'll leave him out of this. Matt Ryan, he's in a great spot. All right. Now, Matt Ryan, for him to come through, we need a similar fantasy performance like we saw in Week 10 against Las Vegas, 22 fantasy points. That's when it's worth your while. He even chipped in with rushing yards, so that was unforeseen there. That was the key reason why he went off. We saw another high upside game against Jacksonville where he had 3 touchdowns and 30 fantasy points. So Matt Ryan has the capabilities to definitely take it to the next level. Obviously happy that he has a second chance. And if we're looking at fantasy points allowed to that quarterback position, the Pittsburgh Steelers are second to last. 279 yards passing allowed, 3 TDs a game. So we got Matt Ryan in an awesome spot in this game. And if they're throwing the ball, that's only going to open things up for Jonathan Taylor. So we love Colts for Monday Night Football. Let's move on to a Pittsburgh Steeler that we can talk about, and that's going to be Najee Harris. All right, Najee Harris is getting a lot of steam on the back of his legs with Jaylen Warren emerging. Now he's going to be out. Najee Harris, not saying he's been more explosive, but you're seeing a little bit of a difference, more motivated, but I also see an increase in usage. All right, we got back-to-back games where he had 20 carries in each of them. We saw 4 receptions and on 6 targets against Cincinnati Bengals as well. That's what we're used to from last year when he's getting a high usage. Obviously, he's going to have more opportunities to break a couple runs here and there, even though he was not much of an efficient running back last season. All right, now Najee Harris is going to get the bulk of the work here. I have no problem going towards him as a captain or as a flex play because he's going to see the ball 20 plus times, okay, in this game. So definitely got to take advantage of someone that's getting high usage, all right? Next guy we're going to talk about in that captain position, we have George Pickens, all right? I can speak about Deontay Johnson first, but I really feel like George Pickens is just emerging like a little ball. He's going to grow and he's going to evolve to this beautiful butterfly here, and we want to see him go off, all right? We had a solid performance. We finally seen something, all right? 83 yards and a touchdown. That's great, all right? Can we get it on the road? Can you turn into what Christian Watson is doing with the Green Bay Packers? Can George Pickens put a string of games back to back? Hopefully he can. I'm loving him in this spot. He's hard to guard. This man is just putting up highlight reel catches each and every week. So George Pickens is someone we're going to look at. And if we're just so you know, fantasy points allowed to that wide receiver position, the Indianapolis Colts are pretty top tier, as you can see. So I'm putting the stats to the side. We're going with talent with this play, and George Pickens, no matter the matchup, he is a top tier pick. All right. Next, we got Deontay Johnson. He's going to be a solid play to look towards. That's why I had George Pickens first. Deontay Johnson has fallen behind George Pickens. Now, if you even look at the targets, the past 2 weeks, only 10 targets the last 2 weeks, no touchdowns. And he's been getting a lot of games under double-digit fantasy points. So he could become more of a flex play on Monday for Deontay Johnson, all right? Let's go with another Indianapolis Colt here. And this guy has some upside. He has a great connection with Matt Ryan. We already seen some really good performances from Paris Campbell this season: 20 fantasy points in week 10, 23 in week 7, 18.7 in week 6. So some high upside there for Paris Campbell, who's going to be a little bit more lower owned in this game, and I'm liking him emerging as the number 2 wide receiver in this offense. All right. So let's move on to the flex plays. Next up will be the flex ops, and we got some gems here. Let's start off with the Pittsburgh Steelers Pat Freiermuth. He's been a consistent target for Kenny Pickett. This is the top target here for Kenny Pickett. George Pickens has all the upside, but someone that's just been super consistent because Kenny Pickett is not afraid to throw the ball in the middle of the field. Pat Freiermuth has been a stud. As you can see, the last past 4 weeks, 9, 7, 7, and 12 targets we've seen from Pat Freiermuth, getting peppered with targets. He has not got in the end zone, which where we really, really would love him to get in the end zone to really take it to the next level, especially at his current salary. We want a 20-point performance from Pat Freiermuth. He has the ability, he has the capabilities, and he's having the upside here, especially with the amount of targets he's getting. I like Pat Freiermuth as a flex play. All right, next guy we're going to talk about will be Alec Pierce. This is the number 3 wide receiver in this offense here. Paris Campbell has passed him right now. Alec Pierce had a couple good games at the beginning of the season. He had a 13.9, 16.1, and a 12 fantasy point performance earlier in the season. And Alec Pierce is number 3 in snaps. If we're looking at the wide receivers, Alec Pierce is getting 71% of the snaps. So this is definitely a punt-worthy play in Alec Pierce that we can go to. All right, we got some news about Kylen Granson here, the tight end. They had 3 tight ends, now they got to 2. All right, so you got to choose between Mo Alley-Cox and Jelani Woods, who we'll get to very, very soon. So Granson is going to be doubtful. Most likely he's going to be out of this game. All right. The backup running back for the Colts is Deion Jackson. He's getting a little bit of work in that receiving game, as you see the last past 2 weeks. Got 11 carries against New England, and then got 4 receptions on 4 targets against Philadelphia with 1 run. So he's going to get a minimal amount of usage there. As long as Jonathan Taylor is healthy and fine, you do not have to worry about Deion Jackson. All right, if we're looking at defenses in this game, I would like to go with the Colts defense to take advantage of the rookie quarterback and Kenny Pickett. On the other side of the ball, Steelers is viable as well. Matt Ryan has a tendency to turn over the ball, and especially with TJ Watt coming for you, things can get a little bit scary there as well. So both defenses are going to be viable for your lineup builds, as well as both kickers. All right, I don't see a lot of touchdowns being scored here. Both of these offenses can move the ball, so that's going to be bode well for these kickers here. We got Matthew Wright here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, taking the place of Chris Boswell, and then Chase McLaughlin is already averaging 8.4 points per game. And as you can see, look at Matthew Wright averaging 10.3 points per game. So both defenses and kickers are going to be viable. If I had to lean more one over the other, I would lean more to the kickers because these teams struggle getting the ball in the end zone, and their kickers are being very, very productive. All right, so let's clear this out. Let's see if we can find some more gems past the kickers and past the defenses. Like I said, we got Mo Alley-Cox here with no Kylen Granson. Mo Alley-Cox is the number 1 tight end, and hopefully we can get a performance out of him that we saw in week 4 against Tennessee, 26.5. All right, that's going to be some high upside where hopefully everything goes off. But he is sharing work with Jelani Woods here. Jelani Woods has had more breakout games that we saw so far this season. He had in week 6 10.7, and in week 3 15.3. So with Kylen Granson out, there's going to be a clear split down the middle between these 2 guys. They're going to be fighting for those fantasy points at that tight end position. All right, let's see if we can find some other gems down low. I think we can stay away from the guys in the $400 and $200 range. Ashton Doolin is more of a play if one of these wide receivers get injured. He came on kind of strong at the beginning of the season with some injuries there, but I think we can stay away from the other guys. The cheapest I would go would be Jelani Woods at $1,400 in salary. All right, so for this slate on Monday Night Football, the 3 to 4 guys we're going to key in on. Number 1 will be Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman's in a great spot with Othello Witherspoon out. at the cornerback position. Number 2 is going to be George Pickens. That upside, his talent, everything works well, all right, for him and Kenny Pickett. All right, he's coming on strong. Saw a very nice performance out of him. Number 3 will be, got to pay up for Jonathan Taylor, right? I think it's going to be worth it, especially someone that's going to get the bulk of the carry. So we're going to keep it there. Honorable mentions: Najee Harris, Paris Campbell, and Pratt Freiermuth. But I want to build most of my lineups around these 3 core explosive guys here: Michael Pittman, George Pickens, and Jonathan Taylor. All right, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back very, very soon with another video. All right, peace out, guys.